Hello ladies and gentle-ladies, welcome back to another Industria development stream. We are back with Industria, as you can see. And we're going to be continuing the multi-block stuff. We might even finish it today, which would be crazy. But we'll see. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I'm just going to show what I currently have, because a lot of things have changed. So I actually don't even remember where we were at last time. Let me have a look, because I don't recall where we were. So let's see. Oh yeah, we were doing kind of some of the fake world stuff. I see. Okay, how far into it were we though? I'm trying to find a friggin' in-game thing so I can have a look. I don't know. I don't think any of it worked. Which is kind of funny. So yeah, now everything works basically. So once the game is loaded, let me actually first of all, let's get that window capture up for the Minecraft. There we go. Is that gonna show? It's literally, oh, there it is. Okay, thank you, OBS. So if we pop into here, just give it a second. Okay, so these are the multi-block pieces, right? And you can see this is the multi-block designer. So as you can see, it's just showing these pieces because these pieces have been using the wrench, have been tied to this. Now I actually multi-block controller is something I needed to add to the line. Let me do that, because otherwise I'm going to forget and it will never happen. So let me also put this at the end, just so I don't go completely and utterly insane. Yes, kind of. I don't think it's actually called that though, is it? Okay. Just call this example multi-block controller. It's not that important, but it just will be useful for now. Don't know why I tried to hot swap that. That is data gen, so I need to run data gen. So yeah, as you can see, this renders in the UI. I also have this nice border thing, and then I also have this title thing up here. I should probably open paint.net so I can show you exactly what's going on with the textures there, because yeah, that was interesting to do. So this is basically what it's using as the texture for this entire thing. So it's using this one right here, and it's just doing a 9 slice of this texture. And it's kind of doing the same with this one. It's just doing, I guess, a 3 slice. It's splitting it into 3 chunks. So it's taking 4 pixels here, then it's taking 4 pixels here, and then it's taking these middle 4 pixels as well. And it's just drawing that for this up here. And then, yeah, as I said, this is for there. And then we're also going to use this today. So this is what we're going to be using, and we're going to 9 slice that as well. So you can see that when I click on one of these, I actually have it highlight that specific block, and then I can choose to change that palette key. So I say G, and I can confirm, and you see that changes to G, which is okay. The UI though is not great. So I quite like this green box that it does. I think that's perfectly fine, and that will probably stay. But what I want to change is I want to have some actual UI on the screen, and use that basically. So it's easier said than done, unfortunately. This isn't going to be an easy UI, and this is in fact going to be one of the most complex UIs in the entire mod. So yeah, you can see that this screen class is already 428 lines. And that's of course with most of it actually being inside these other classes. So we have the actual multi-block designer world widget. That's in this class though, so that's not really relevant. And then we have the actual fake world scene, which is obviously what renders the blocks here. And yeah, we also have the nameplates as well, which are part of the scene. Yeah, just because that's useful. And then we also have this chart text field widget, which is basically just a text field widget, but it only lets you type a chart. It's pretty simple. Like, this isn't complicated in the slightest. It is just a text field widget and just has a couple things on it. And then the button as well, but that's not anything exciting. That's just I go here. That is a confirm palette button, which, yeah, is also inside of this class. So that just renders this texture, which is the checkmark texture, which is this one. I think I probably could have referenced that from something. I don't remember. Because I got this from vanilla. So this is just a vanilla texture. I think it's used in Realms, I think. Don't actually really remember where this is used. If I do Control-Shift-F and I look for checkmark, and as long as I spell it right, no, not that one. That's this one. Oh no, it's actually in the chat selection screen. I don't know what screen this is. Oh, it's the report screen, apparently. Sure. It's funny because vanilla actually have two checkmark textures. So you can see in the game here, if we do F3 and S, that exports dynamic textures, which allows us to view the atlases. And if I open the one for GUIs, which I can't see, is it? Basically, it has... Wait, can I show this? Yeah, that's fine. So it has all of these. So these are all the atlases, basically. And if we look for the GUI one, which I am completely blanking over right now, I can't see it. Oh, there it is. So if we look at this, actually don't want to open that in there. It's kind of hard to see on here because I don't want to. Okay, fine. What we'll do is we'll open it in paint.net. That'll work. Right, so if I open this, you can see we have this one. I think this is the one I currently have in here. Yeah, I would say that's that one. And then there's also this one. I don't know what this one is for or where it comes from. I have no idea. You've also got the red cross. I don't know where this comes from. I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. I also don't know like where this one comes from. Like, where the hell is this used? I don't know. I don't know where most of these are used, to be honest. Like, what is this? Is this a potion effect? I guess it must be because it's with the other potion effects, but I've never seen that either. I genuinely don't know what like a lot. There's also, yeah, there's also these ones as well, which I'm pretty sure are exactly the same as these ones, right? I would say so. I would say those are exactly, you actually can't see them, 1 second. Those are exactly the same as these ones. So I don't know. I couldn't even find where those are. I genuinely did try to search for them, but I just couldn't find them. I also have no idea, like, what the hell is this texture? Why does this exist? You know? Vanilla do some weird shit. Even this, bro. Like, this is just a square. Why couldn't they just draw a square? Whatever. Regardless, that's kind of besides the point. So, yeah. I'm just using this texture and drawing that. So if we close that now and close this as well. That's basically everything, to be honest. Obviously we can go into some things and whatnot. For example, sync preview is what syncs all of the predicates from the block entity and maps them to the actual correct data structures inside of the fake world scene. So it adds the nameplates and it also adds the predicates as well. Yeah, and then also when it changes, it updates the anchor position, which allows it to actually like center on this, because you can see the camera is centered around this. So that's what this method does. Just make sure that that stays updated even when I add a new block. So if I, for example, go ahead and also let me quickly do a build and then get that data gen in here. Okay, and then F3 and T. Okay, and then if we go ahead and grab another one of these, boom, wrench, 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 you should now see that's still centered. Even if I go ahead and add one all the way over here, in theory, I haven't tested this, but in theory it should stay centered. It technically has. You can see the other one is over there. So like technically it's put the center in the middle. Not necessarily ideal though, is it? I mean, yeah, there's a couple issues with that. I mean, you can even see the clip area here. And I currently also don't have a way to like scroll in or out. That is something I definitely need to add at some point. We're not going to be doing that today because that is a shit ton of math, and I don't want to do maths. So yeah, what I want to have basically, also let's go ahead and destroy that block because that's basically making that unusable. Oh shit, apparently that doesn't work. Okay, good to know. In that case, we will destroy this, and then we will destroy these. And then we'll try again. So we'll place down the control. This is... No, this is the controller. We want the designer. There we go. Let's also get rid of these shenanigans. We don't need those anymore. So, that's the designer. That's the wrench. Let's just keep these separate so I know what's what. So that's the designer. Now if I place some pieces, sure, whatever, that works. So currently I don't have a way to like bulk add them. But I think that's fine for now, because this isn't like too much effort. But yeah, you can see that's now centered on that, so that's fine. I can click on any of these. The clicking is a little bit buggy. Like sometimes it doesn't quite work. Like you can see there, it thinks I'm clicking on this one, and it's because technically I'm clicking on the center of this one, so it thinks I'm clicking on that one. Because I think it just takes basically the center of, or the closest center to what I'm clicking on, which like when I'm clicking, you know, yeah, if I'm clicking like there, it just doesn't do anything. So it's obviously suboptimal. Yeah, I somehow managed to click that one, and then clicking those ones back there. Not ideal. But it's good enough for now. Like, this isn't a massive problem. I actually want to get rid of these two, because I think that would be easier to work with. Well. Okay. So, what I want to have on the left-hand side will be the UI that displays the characters to the predicates, basically. So it'll just be like a mapping window. And then also on the bottom left, I'm going to have like an export panel as well. So let's go ahead and start trying to do that. So if we go into, we're probably going to want to do this in draw background. So I'm using render background to draw the dirt and then the border on top. I actually don't know if draw background is even called anymore. Should we have a look? Oh, I don't think we're in debug mode. Are we? We are. So that should be printing if that's being called. Yeah, it's not being called. So this is actually a useless method now. But what we could do is we could actually call it. That would probably kind of make it not so useless. So we'll do context, we'll do delta text mouse y. So that means that then this can be called, and so it doesn't look so weird, I'm going to put that after render background. Or actually even we'll put it after the we'll put it before the render method, but after these two. Because these are like the actual background, right? So I think that makes sense. Okay, so this will be used to draw the background of the foreground UIs, if that makes any sense. So, best way to get started, let's use screen utils dot draw texture context. We're going to use the GUI border texture, and then we're going to pass in 0 on the X, and we're going to pass in 48 on the Y. I have closed paint.net, so if I want to check exactly if that's correct, then I need to open that back up. But I think because this one is 48 high, so it should be 48 on the Y. I will double check though, if I can select it properly. So yeah, that starts at 0, 48, and it's 48 by 48. Okay, fantastic. So 0, 48. Now, oh, that's the actual X and Y position. So the actual X and Y position I want to draw it at will be, well, I don't really know. I think I'm going to go 8 for now. And then the Y position, I'm also going to go 8. So it's basically 8 across and 8 down, which will put it about here, because I want it to be inset a little bit, otherwise it would be weird. So we'll go 8, 8, and then this is the UV, which is 0, 48. And then we're also going to go for, I think this is the width and the height. So for the width and the height, I want basically a third of the screen, -16, because we're saying there's an 8 buffer on the left, but it makes sense to also have an 8 buffer on the the right. Okay. So we can use this dot width divided by 3, and then we can just minus 16, which gets us the width. I'm thinking actually, do we want to minus 16 before we divide by 3? Probably, yes, we probably do. So let's do minus 16 divided by 3. Because then it's like a third of this space in the middle, which I think is probably a better way to do that. And then we'll also take the height. So for the height, that's going to be the entire height, basically, but minus 16. So we're not going to divide that by 3. And then the texture size is just 256 anyways. So if I now hot swap that, we can see that has actually worked. So that has drawn it all there, but that's obviously not going to work in terms of what we actually want, because that's just going to go all the way down. It's not going to do it as a 9 slice. So to do it as a 9 slice, we want to look at not dirt background. We want to look at border overlay, and then further into full screen border. So this is basically the method I'm using to 9 slice it. Now vanilla does have a 9 slice method, but it's not ideal. I am curious actually, is this drawing the centerpiece? Because I'll be honest with you guys, I got ChatGPT to do the 9 slice because I couldn't be bothered to figure out how to do it so that yeah, I basically couldn't be bothered to figure out how to do it with the what am I even on about with the friggin' 9 slice thing. If you go context.draw, yeah, this. So they have this draw sprite 9 slice, but it requires a sprite, which is like not useful to anyone ever. So yeah. Also, this should really just be 1 second. Multiblock designer, yes, that is what we are working on today. Also, isn't the main modding version 1.21.1? Why are you doing 1.21.8? I'm doing 1.21.8 because I haven't updated to 1.21.11 yet. And I'm not going to do that until I've done this, because otherwise that would break everything. Because this is a separate branch. So, I mean, it's kind of going to break everything anyways, and it's probably going to really piss me off, and I'm probably going to stick with 1.21.8 for ages. But, you know, I'll leave that to future 30. He can deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. Not right now, anyways. So, there we go. Let's do that. That replaces all of these. I could probably extract this out into a method. Maybe? Maybe. I need to figure out, does this actually draw the middle? Right? Like, is this drawing, you know, if we go into the paint.net here, is it drawing the center 16 by 16 box? Is the question. Where's the 16 by 16? It's like there or something. No, it's like one over. There? I think it's one down, actually. I think that's the center. Is that the center? I think so. I need to know if it's drawing that or not, because we obviously don't want it to draw that. That's just completely and utterly unnecessary. I don't think it is. Hello, Aleatorio, welcome to the stream, and hello, Wide, welcome to the stream. Okay. Also, this doesn't need to be here, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Because by default, it does just draw 256 by 256, so that's fine. Now, let's look at the middle here. So, let's look at this. So, for int y is equal slice. So if we look at slice, that is border slice, which is basically the width of each slice, right? So y is equal slice. Y is less than the start of the bottom, which is height negative slice. Yeah, and then right. So that basically means that it will start like here, right? Because that will be the first 16. Then it goes basically all the way down to here before it reaches the last 16. So draw height then becomes the min of those two values, which is fine. And then we draw texture. So that just draws the first one. Wait, where's that doing that? 0 on the X and then Y. Okay, so that's basically doing the left side. Oh, and then this is doing the bottom, I think? No. This is doing... Can I get rid of this? I might be able to get rid of this. Yes, I can get rid of that, because that didn't change anything. So that was actually filling the middle in. And this was basically just drawing the left and just drawing the right. So there you go, that now works. What do you think about the new version's unobfuscation of the code? I think that's nice, but I also don't think it really makes a difference to anyone. So it is what it is. But I mean, there isn't much to say about it. It really doesn't change much. It changes like a little bit for like the Fabric developers, like the actual API developers, because obviously it means they don't have to figure out yarn naming, right? But like it's minor. It's really not that big of a thing. Like it's nice, but it also just doesn't really matter. How did this one sneak in there? Get out of here. It doesn't mean that much for modders. It means a lot for the mod loader APIs. They don't need to account for the debug. Yeah, but they've already... The thing is, I've heard quite a few people say this, actually. But the thing is, mod loaders have actually... Like, that's already done, right? The deobfuscation step has already been in place, and it's been in place for years. So it's actually kind of more effort for the mod loader developers, because they actually have to basically figure out how to remove that step in a way. And honestly, we're still going to face kind of the in a way bigger problem, which is that, like, if you think about it, the bigger problem is really that the code is compiled, not that it's obfuscated. Because currently we still have to decompile Minecraft, right? We don't just get the Java files, we get the class files inside the jar file. So we still have to decompile it, and that means you still get tons of decompiler artifacts. Even, you know, I can probably find one in a matter of seconds, right? Let's go into, like, we'll probably actually have to go quite far down. I mean, here you go, right? This is decompiler artifacts. It obviously doesn't actually look like this. So you're not going to have a case run command var 6, run command var 10,000 equals var 6. You know, you just wouldn't do that. And it's even erroring, right? Because this isn't, you know, the decompiler's obviously not worked here. Like, it hasn't changed that much in reality. The internals of a method are still going to be pretty hard to decipher sometimes, because of that. Are you having a nice day? I am having... sure. My day's been going okay. I've honestly just been working on this all day, actually. You know, if you look at my Whacker time, I'm at 4 hours. I think I'm actually at like 4.5. I think it just hasn't updated. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm on 4.5. 4 hours, 24 minutes. Which ain't that bad. It's definitely gone down a lot from last week. But yeah. It's not bad. Anyways. So. Let's think about this. What do we want to do? We need to 9 slice it. So, in order to 9 slice it, we basically actually just want to copy what I just deleted, funny enough. We want basically this entire thing. And then we want to get rid of what I just deleted. All right, and then I also want to get rid of these again. Replace. There we go. Oh, right. I also need to replace this as well with screen utils dot draw texture context. Replace. Okay. So then what we want to do is we want to go into our draw background method, wherever that is. So this one, basically. And I'm just going to paste that in here. And it's going to be similar. It's just going to start at different values. So, for example, right start... Yeah, that's not quite right. So this, for example, will be... If you think about this, this is the int width is equal that. And... and then int height is equal that. Okay, and we can just get rid of that. So then this will be width and height minus slice. I'm confused. Is that Multiblock Designer an app? No, this is Minecraft. It's just Minecraft. There's nothing special about it. And then slice is equal border slice. So that's going to be exactly the same. That's not going to change. The only thing that's going to change now is going to be the UVs. So basically all of the Ys will need to start at 48. So 48. If we do that straight away, what does that do? Does that change anything? Yeah. Okay. So that gets that started. And then all of the Ys will need to also start at 8 as well, which should get that pretty close. And then the X will also start at 8. So we're going to do 8 plus X. And then 8 there as well. Not 8 there. Wait, should it be 8 there? No, it shouldn't, right? So that's just, yeah, because that's the right side, basically. And then for the middle rows, it's going to be pretty similar. So this is going to be 48 plus 16, which gets us 64. That took me way too long to figure out. So there you go. Okay, yeah, that kind of works. We just need to offset the X again. So that will start at 8. And then this will be 8 plus X. Okay. And then finally we need to do the bottom one as well. So that's going to start at 96 on all of these. And we should immediately see that didn't work. Wait, no, it's not 96. 1 second. It's 48. Wait. No, it's 64, I think. Is it 64? I think I'm failing at maths, chat. Oh, no, of course it's not. It's 80. It's 80. Yeah, there you go. And then this is also 8 plus X. And this is 8. Nice, which gets that filled in. Now, for some reason, the bottom is not correct there. I don't know why. Height is height negative 16. And then that's height negative slice. That's correct, is it not? So is the multi-block size something the player is able to use, or is there something you can use? This is just something I can use. This is not for the player. Or at least it's not planned to be for the player. It is just for me. Yeah, I'm doing this and I'm like also wondering in the back of my head, am I actually even going to use this? Actually, I'm going to keep those comments because those are kind of useful. Yeah, I don't know if I'm even going to use this, which is kind of bad. Okay, something hasn't worked. I'm a little bit confuzzled. Got height negative 16. That should be correct, no? because that's 8 from the top. So that minuses 8 from that height, and then 8 from the bottom, which minuses 8 from there. So why is this not working? Starts at 8, 8 plus x. Bottom start. Oh, does that need to be 8 plus? Yeah. It does. Right? If we do that... Right. So basically we need to change bottom start to be plus 8. Yes. Okay. Yeah, of course, because otherwise it was height minus slice, which would be too much because it doesn't account for the fact that we minus 16, I think. I think that's correct. Hey, I'm late. What did I miss? You have missed not much, to be honest. You have pretty much just missed us drawing this left panel. That is what you have missed. Okay, and then, funnily enough, we need to duplicate this, basically. So, let's... I'm going to keep that there, and then I'm just going to take this part. So, I just want to have, like, a draw left panel. 8 width height. It doesn't need that. It just needs width and height. So let me do private void draw left panel and put that in there. That has the panel width and panel height, so that those just need to make sure they actually do go in there. Otherwise that's going to use the entire width and height of the screen, which is not what we want. Make sure I haven't accidentally put those anywhere else. And then we pretty much want to just copy paste this, but like not quite. We basically want to change it so it's the other way around now. So this will actually become the left start, and then we'll do that. What's going in the left panel? Just got back. So in the left panel, we are going to have the keys base. I don't know honestly exactly how I want this GUI to look. Actually, now that I think of it, it's not even going to be that height. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in here as well. Purely because the left panel is actually going to be a different height to the right panel. Because it's going to be split in two. So the left panel is going to take up 2/3 of the left side, and then the final third is going to be an export panel. Now I'm going to need to restart the game because I added a new method. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to create 2 more methods. So what we can do is have 2 more methods. So private void draw. Let's actually name the panels as well. That might help. Let's name the panels, and then at least people will know what I'm trying to achieve here. So let me bring up a thing I have. I have like a very rough sketch. You're gonna have a list of required blocks for the multi-block? No. No. Kind of. No. Not really. Well, kind of. It's gonna be, so basically the left panel is gonna be draw palette panel. Draw context like that. And that will draw that one. So that we draw palette panel. And then below the palette panel, we're going to have a draw export panel, which will be for exporting. And then on the right, we're going to have your right panel. Where's the right panel? Did I already make that a method? Oh. Don't know how I managed that. I didn't intend to do that. Just leave that one empty for now. So yeah, on the right, we're going to have a... I don't really know what to call the right panel because it's a little bit complicated. The right panel is going to be like kind of very hard to do. Let's say draw edit panel. Sure, that's good enough for me. So that'll draw export panel, and then we're going to have draw edit panel. Okay, perfect. Let's run the game, and then we can, now that we've got the 3 methods we need, we can make this work. I'm actually kind of thinking though, I'd quite like to make a draw 9 slice method, and then that saves us a shit ton of time. Like that would really save us a lot of time, and it saves us a lot of code. We don't have to have as much code because this class is already getting massive, and I don't want to make it like 10 times bigger by adding 2 methods. So I actually am going to stop the game, and we're going to take this out into a method. So can we use this? Just trying to think. So I'm gonna rename this variable, and I'm gonna call this draw width, just because we already have widths. We already have width as a variable. It doesn't like that. Don't know why it doesn't like that. Oh, I see. We do already have that as a variable. Shit. Okay. This is going to be... I don't know. I don't know what to call this variable. It actually is fine, because this is gonna... If we're gonna take this out into a method, it's gonna be static in context, so that's fine. Okay, good. So that means I can take this, and then we're going to go into good old screen utils. And yeah, sure, that's fine. And then at the very bottom, we're going to go public static void render. Are these all called render? No. Because we're not really rendering, we are drawing. They are technically kind of different. So draw 9 sliced texture. Draw context, and then I don't know what else we're going to need. So we are going to want the actual texture. That would help. So, okay, we're going to need a couple things. So we're going to want identifier, texture. We're going to want the int x, the int y, the int width, the int height, the int u, the int v. We can do... Yeah, that's fine. And then we can also do texture width and texture height. Int slice. Yeah, that's also correct. So we want the slice size. Not slice size. Okay. And then basically we can just replace all these variables. So int width will be this, right? So we don't need that to be in here because that's already in there. So if we go into our method, we can do int width, int height. Okay, lovely. Then what we're going to want, let me close a couple of things as well. I can't do that because then you guys can't see it. Sure, okay. Let me do this. And this. and this. Okay. Slice will be slice size. So let's just get rid of that. Ooh, didn't like that. Is there an easy way to do this? Not really. Well, kind of. I mean, I could probably find replace slice, but I'll just do it manually. Ain't gonna take a second. Boom, boom. Okay, all of you. Okay. Then let's also replace the texture as well. It's going to become a little bit easier to read as well, so that's beneficial. Okay. It also doesn't like int x. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. We can do start x and we can do start y. And then basically all of the 8s we need to replace with those. So this will be start x. This will be start y. This will be u. This will be v. Yeah, that's fine. This will be u plus slice size. This will be v. This will be start y. This will be start x. Have I done all that right so far? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna mess something up here, and it's gonna break everything, and I'm gonna be so confused. I already know it's gonna happen. Okay, so this is the start y. This is the start x plus slice size times 2. So start x plus slice size times 2. And then, oh, I should really just, well, yeah, that's fine. And then this is v. Slice size, yes. Okay. So that should be the top row done. I am kind of concerned we haven't done the texture width and height though. So let's pass those in. Let's do text width. And let's do text height as well. I'm actually going to copy that into all of them. It's not strictly necessary for like this specific circumstance, but I just don't want to have to come back and do this for something else. It's just easier if we get it done now. That means I don't have to rewrite everything in the future. Even though I will have to rewrite everything in the future, but that's a whole nother thing. We'll come back to that. So, okay, this one, so this is going to be, once again, U, and then this is going to be, this is going to be V plus slice size. This is going to be start X, and this is going to be start Y. Wait, is it? Is it? Now I'm not sure. Why wasn't that 8 plus Y before? Because Y is equal slice size. Y is equal slice size. So that means it starts at 16, right? So technically that's correct. But only because... Wait, is that correct? If we go 8 down... No, that's actually wrong. That actually would have kind of caused issues. So that actually needs to be start Y plus Y. And then we got U, V, V plus slice size, raw height is fine. And then let's go into here. So this is start X. And then once again, this needs to be start Y. And then this needs to be slice size. And then this needs to be, once again, v plus slice size. What part of the project is even this? This is for multi-blocks, which is kind of the entire project, to answer your question. Wait, what's this? Right start. Oh, right, because this needs to be, instead of +8, this needs to be plus start y. Yes. Right start is width minus slice size. Width minus slice size. No. Kind of not, actually. Wait. Well... See... Yeah, I mean, that should really, in reality, that should be start x plus width minus slice size. But I don't actually know that it really matters. I mean, I guess it could. It depends on the texture. If we look at the texture, if, say, 16 pixels in... Right, so if here, this didn't happen to be the same as, like, this, then that would break. I think it's probably better to just do it like that and save the hassle in the future. So now where were we at? Now I'm completely lost. Start x plus x. Start y plus y, slice size, da da da, da da da. Right start. Right, so because of that, we don't have to do... Because right start is the right, so we don't have to do x plus right start. We can just do right start because it already does the start x plus that. So that's fine. Whether or not that's the ideal way to do it is debatable. Okay, so then y needs to be start x. No, start y, not start x, of course. So start y plus y. This needs to be... Wait. That's the u. Let's think about this. That needs to be... So this is for the right-hand side. So that needs to be start x plus slice size times 2. Okay. Then we have v, which needs to be v plus slice size. Okay. And then, yeah, the rest are fine. Okay, this one. So we start here at x, so that means we need to do start x. Bottom start is... Let's put this the other way around so we can read this a little bit better. So we'll do the start. So then that starts off of start y. So we don't have to change that to be like start y plus bottom start. That's fine. Okay, so u is 0, so that just needs to be u. Then we have v plus, so v starts at 48, and we need to get to 80, so that's plus 2 times 16, right? So v plus slice size times 2. And then we have slice size. Okay, that's fine. Wait, did I put that in the right place? Yes, I did. I'm getting lost already. Okay. Then we do, once again, start x plus x. Bottom start is fine because that already does the start y. Then we have u plus slice size. Then we have this again, so v plus slice size times 2. Then we have draw width, which is fine, and then slice size, texture width, texture height, and then finally we have u plus slice size times 2, and then we have v plus slice size times 2. Hopefully, the theory is that I haven't messed anything up, but I don't know. Yeah, unsure. What it might be nice to do here, I've actually messed it up. Wait, have I? Yes, I have. I have messed that up because here I put start x. That needs to be u plus slice size times 2. Same here, actually. That needs to be u plus slice size times 2. I should probably check all of those now. So u, v, where's u? That's v, so that's u. That's fine. V, u, v, u, v, u, v, u, v. Okay, that's fine. What I want to do, I want to turn this into a variable. So this will be basically the u of the right hand side. Wait, let me think. So this isn't the left hand side u because that's just 0. This is then times 2. So this is the u of the right slice. So the third one. Therefore, we're going to call this u2. And that makes sense. Let's rename u, actually. Let's rename that to u0. And same with v. That might help significantly. And then we have u2 there. So then we can also do int u1. And we can do the same with v, right? We can do v1 and v2. And therefore we can just replace all of those, right? So this will then be u1. Then it's u2. And then basically it becomes the same here. So this is u0. This is v1. This is that's slice size. Okay, that's actually wrong. Kind of. Wait. Yeah, that's wrong. That needs to be u1. Because that should be u plus slice size. Otherwise it wouldn't work for other ones. And then that makes this v1. So then this is v1. So u2 v1, u1 v1, u0 v1. That's u2 v0, u1 v0, u0 v0, which is fine because that's the top row. So v doesn't change. And then the middle row, we have the v as 1 and u as will change. So let's check that's correct. So u will start 0, then u1, then u2. So v stays the same. v1, v1, v1. Okay? And then the bottom row, it will be a different u every single time, but v will stay the same. So v should always be v2, 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 and then this is u1. That actually makes that significantly easier to read. Like, so much easier to read. Okay, good. So start y plus y. But yeah, we can't really make that a variable. Even though we're using that a lot, or well, 3 times, we can't make that a variable because y changes. So that's not helpful. Same with x as well. So this is the most I think we can simplify this. But I think that's simple. I think I've made that nice and simple now. That anyone should be able to come and look at this and understand what this does. Let me just look at like some of these things, like the draw width, for example. So that's the math.min between slice size and the start of the right negative x, x being, yeah, I think that makes sense. Sure. So now, if everything has worked well, we should be able to do screen utils, draw 9 slice, context, we should pass in the GUI border texture, we should be able to pass in 8 and 8, because that's the start and start x, start y. Then we have the width and the height. And then we have the U1 and the V1, right? So U1 or U0. U0 is 0. And then U1 is 48. And then we have... What's the next one? Is it the texture size? Oh no, we have the slice size. So the slice size is border slice. And then we have the texture size, which is 256, 256. Okay, one thing I will do, just so I don't have to do that every single time, is get rid of that. And then what that allows me to do is just instantly pass in 256. Because most of the time it's going to be 256. So, kaboom. And that's even easier now. I could probably directly just pass these into here, and I'm like half considering doing that, but I'm not going to do that. Hello, Soyubin, welcome to the stream. Okay, export panel. So, yeah, this isn't actually correct, though. One thing I also want to do, or some assets. Let me copy this again. Or, no, actually not copy it. I'm going to pass a Boolean in. And this is going to be Boolean draw middle. And then that means I can also use it for the other one as well. So draw middle is actually super simple. I just get rid of this, right? So if draw middle, then do that. Okay. Which will save a little bit of performance. I mean, it's not anything major, but it's just nice to have. So Boolean draw middle, pass those in, draw middle, and then I also want to duplicate all of these methods again, but get rid of the Boolean. So true, like that. And then I want to duplicate this one. Get rid of that. No, that needs to be that one. Nice. Technically, I guess it should go, well, no, that's fine, actually. That's fine. That because then that calls that one. Wait. Is that right? Yeah. Wait. No. Wait. I'm trying to think about this. Because this calls that one. Which is fine. Because that one doesn't... Yeah, that one instantly puts it to true. And then that means nothing is going to call... Oh, I guess it could... This one could be called by... No, it couldn't. Okay, that's fine. I think. That's fine. Yeah. So, all I need to change, basically, is the height will no longer be height negative 16. It will instead be height negative 16 divided by 3 times 2, which there's a way to do, right? There's a way to simplify that. Divide 3 times 2. This is where my math fails me. Is there not a way to do that without multiplying? Oh, wait, can't I just times by 2 over 3? Right? Wait, what? Oh, because that's 3, yeah. And then convert that to an... Never mind, it's just easier to do it dead. It's just easier to do it like that. Rather than do float shenanigans. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So that gets that. So that will now draw 2/3 the height of the screen. And the reason it's going to draw 2/3 is because we're then going to draw the export panel below it. So that's going to start at this height. We're actually probably going to want a little bit of a buffer here. So it might be a good idea to maybe change this to be 24? Would that be right? Yeah, I think so. So int width will once again be that. Int height will be that. Yes, correct. So then we do screen utils dot draw 9 slice texture, and we do context. We do GUI border texture. Start X will still be 8. Start Y will be let's think. Int start Y will be basically this plus 16. Yeah, I mean 10 kind of plus 16, but like I also kind of just want to do GUI border, not GUI border, border slice. But fuck it, we'll do border slice, fine. Which is the same reason we're doing these as well. I could maybe do like border slice plus border slice divided by 2. I think let's just leave those ones though as 24, because otherwise that's confusing. So then we have start Y, we have width, height, 0, 48, border slice. Okay, that should work. And then edit panel will basically be the same, but on the right. So with, and this will be from negative border slice. Not width, negative border slice. I'm just trying to think in my head. Well, this will, so that would be, the width is the end, right? Negative border slice takes you 16 away. So then you have that entire width, divide it by 3. And then times it by 2. So that means it starts at basically 2/3 plus the border slice, because you want it to be 16 away on the left hand side. I think that's correct. I think, yeah, probably. Okay, Now I want to also substitute this. Wait, not this part. This one. I want to substitute this. Can I just... This is nice and simple, right? Because it just uses the width and the height of the entire screen. So I can just use screen utils, dot draw 9 slice texture, context, UI border slice, 0 0, width height 0 0 slice. Which slice is just border slice. Right? And then, do I need right? No, I don't need those because that's already handled. So actually, I can just kind of get rid of that, can't I? And then just do that in there. And then this is a little bit different because this is like drawing like a 3 slice instead of a 9 slice. Which is like a method I could make, but I just can't be bothered, so I'm not going to do that. We'll just leave that how it is. Okay, so that should give us 3 panels. I think we'll test it. Let's go and test it. We've done a lot of programming, so let's test it and see if it has paid off or not. We'll see. Hopefully it does, because I would like to then move on. So we'll see. I should also make this a pause GUI as well at some point. Just so like it pauses the game when you're in the GUI. Not that big of a deal, but like kind of need to do that. Okay. I don't know why I moved that on that monitor. You guys will see it twice. Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed, chat. This should work. Oh, so close. So close, but also very far. It's really close. It is genuinely very close. So, what's gone wrong here? So, that top left one has worked, I believe. I think that's completely correct. This bottom one has also worked, but it's also drawn it again below. I don't know why it's done that. And then the right hand side one, it needs to be 16 away from the right, and then it also needs to go 8 more down. So I don't know why that one wouldn't have worked though. That's actually really interesting. Huh. Why wouldn't that one have worked? Okay, the benefit is we've now created all the methods, so we should now be able to hot swap things, which will be actually of significant importance. So let's look at this one first. So I think the width itself is probably fine. I think. I don't see why that would be a problem. Maybe it's not though, because if we look at this very, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this very top right, it seems to have drawn it again. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really hard to see, but there's like 3 pixels up there. Well, probably like 5 pixels where it has drawn it again. Which kind of makes me think it's actually an issue with this, right? so where does the right start? So let's think about this. Why is this minusing slice size? Right, because this isn't the far right. This is the start of the far right. So it goes in by slice size. So that's correct. And same with the bottom, that's correct. So start wide plus height, and then it goes in by slice size, which brings you down to here. So basically that one's actually correct, it seems. I think one of the loops has messed up, and I think more specifically the middle one, because if we look at this, like at the very bottom here, you can see that's a middle piece, not a bottom piece. So I suspect the middle loop here, if we look at this again, so wait, it's the Y, right? So the middle Ys. So Y is less than bottom start. I mean, that should be correct, no? Ooh. Okay, let's think about where this is actually starting, right? So where is this loop actually going to initially be, right? It's going to initially be here, right? At this very top left, like 16 down. It's going to start there. It's then going to go... It's going to draw that 16 by 16 piece, and then it's going to go 16 in, because you can see we have this middle loop here, right? So that's fine. And then it will go in again. But I don't think that... maybe it is wrong, though. Because once again, we're saying this one over here hasn't done what we thought it would do. But these ones haven't done that, which is kind of weird, right? Like, there's no problems with this top left one. It's only these two that have for some reason caused an issue. I don't know that that could be anything to do with this, though. Let's think about this for a second. So, export panel, by the way, is this bottom one, so that we're clear, just so everyone is completely clear. Int width is the same, right? So that can't be an issue. Let's also think about the height. So the height is the height of the entire screen minus 24 and then divided by 3, because we want it split into thirds. And then the height should be 1/3. Now I'm wondering if it actually needs to be minus 24 like that. No. No, it does not. But actually, that does show the problem, right? It's drawing further down than it should be. Like, from way further than it should be, as well. So that's the middle piece. It does make me wonder, maybe, if this top left one is doing that as well. Maybe it's drawing more than it should be. What we can do to test this, actually. If we put false in here. Okay, so that's the middle that it's not drawing, right? So let's leave that as false. No, let's make that true again, I mean. And then let's go in the export one. And let's do false. Interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, let's look at the start Y then. So the start Y should start basically here, right? Which is why we have that. Wait, no, let's think about this. It should be starting at the height of the other one plus 16, right? So that we have this buffer, right? Which is this buffer here. So that's correct. That's fine. So that start Y is fine. Now, if we look at the width and the height to me, so that passes in then the width and the height. The height is just a third, which is fine. V is 48, which is fine. I think the issue has to be in the 9-slice method. So let's go into here and have a look. We know it's an issue with the middle ones. I think it must be the loop itself. So if we look at bottom start, we're starting at start Y. So start Y will be here, right? This is the start Y position. We are then adding the height and then minusing slice size. If we look in here again, I wonder if it's because we're not minusing slice size from the height, whereas we are adding slice size to the start Y. So maybe because we're adding... Wait, no, because that's what this is for, right? This is basically to minus the slice size, which is to do the opposite of this. Wait, no, because we're doing that here as well. 1 second, let's try minus border slice. No, what the fuck? Let me try and get rid of this and see what this does. Okay, so that moves it up, which is as expected. That's what you would expect it to do, right? I'm curious, actually. Is it even this? It is. Okay, it is. Okay. What if we... Yeah. So this here is to add the buffer, right? And then if we minus border slice, then that brings it up correctly. It correctly does bring it up. I'm really curious if, like, is the bottom being repeated further down, like below the screen? I don't think it could be. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, what if we like minus 20 or something? Or let's minus border slice times 2. Okay, why that's interesting is because it's still going down to the bottom of the screen, even though I've just changed the height. Width, height, so start X, start Y, width, height, border slice. The U0 is fine because that's the U, and then the V I think is also fine because that's 48, which is exactly the same as this one, right? That's the width and the height. Is that correct? for the UV, width, height, yes. Start Y. I wonder if start Y needs to actually not take into account the height. Right? Maybe? Does that make sense? Don't think that makes sense. Because if I did like 0, well, right, if I just got rid of that even. Interesting, because that has fixed it, hasn't it? What if I do like this? See, look at that. Look at that, right? Times 5. It's way down there. So, the height must be wrong. Right? So if we get rid of that... It has to be an issue in here. It has to be. Let's go in and have a look. So we know it's an issue with the middle rows because it wasn't during that bottom row twice. So it's an issue not even with this part, actually. It's with this part. So let's have a look at this. It is with both sides as well. So let's look at the Y position first of all. So int Y is equals slice size. Wait, is that right? Start Y plus Y. That's fine because it needs to start on the second one, right? So after it's drawn that top panel, right? Because it draws this part first, right? This top one. So by adding the slice size, we're moving down to basically here, which is where the first one of those should draw. So that's fine. And then that's less than bottom start. So bottom start is the start Y, which is here, plus the height, which should bring us down to here, and then minus slice size, which is here. You can't see what my mouse is doing. Let's try again. This is start Y. We plus the height, which brings us to here, and then minus the slice size, which gets to here. So I think the bottom start is correct. So Y is less than bottom start. Fine. So draw height is equal math.min between the slice size and bottom start negative Y. Bottom start negative Y. Trying to think, why would you do that? So the bottom start is here, right? So negative Y on the first iteration would be here, right? Wait, let me, because this is a little bit confusing. Let me do times 2 on this again. No, not that one. This one? No. Wait, one needs to be times by 2. It's the height, right? So it just needs to get rid of that then. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So if we now look at this again, we can figure this out. So left up min, your height, your texture. Okay, let's look at draw texture. So we're drawing from start X. We know the X is fine. That's not a problem. Then we're using start Y and adding Y, which is correct because Y will start at slice size, which means it will skip this initial slice. So that's fine. We add Y, we start here, right? That's fine. U1. Yeah, U1, no, U0 is fine because that's the left, and then V1 is fine because, well, we know the UV is fine because it's drawing the correct ones. It's not like drawing the wrong sprite. So then what is slice size in this case? So that's the width, which is fine. And then the height is the draw height. I feel like bottom start must be wrong, right? So draw height, texture width, texture height. The issue kind of has to be with bottom start because I mean it has to be because it's basically this loop which is failing. It's not even an issue with this one, right? If I get rid of this loop even, the issue still occurs, right? You can clearly see it's still drawing below there. So we know it's an issue with this loop. So the best way to figure that out is we're going to have to debug it. It's not going to be fun, but it's the best option. So let's go ahead and step in there. Step in again. Okay. So, bottom start. So start Y is 160. Height is 72. Slice size is 16. So, that means bottom start becomes 216. Right? I don't think it's an issue with these, right? Oh, you know, these could also be simplified, actually. This could be U1. That's slice size. This will just be a little bit easier to understand if I do this. Then we don't have any multiplication, right? Not that that's going to change anything here. We will just go ahead and actually hot swap that, just so understandable. But if you look at these are fine, right? So V1 is 64, V2 is then 80 because that's 64 plus 16, and V1 will be V0, which is 48 plus 16, which is correctly 64. So that's fine. That's not an issue, but we knew that wasn't an issue because once again, it's drawing the correct sprite. Top row, we're just going to skip the top row. We don't care about the top row. So then the middle row is basically the one that's the issue. So Y will start as slice size. Slice size is 16. Bottom start is 216. 216 negative Y. Right, so that's to get the gap, right? That's to get the gap when it's not like an even split. That just makes sure it can't draw more than the slice size. So this shouldn't really ever be a problem. Okay, let's just continue and see what happens. So okay, so draw texture, context, texture, start X is 8, start Y is 160 plus 16, which will be 176. So that's fine. Okay. Why is less than bottom starts? That's not correct, is it? Why shouldn't be less than bottom start? Why should be less than bottom start minus... Oh no, because it already is minus the slice size. Because it starts at the slice size and then has to be less than the bottom minus the slice size. That should be fine. I don't know why this isn't working. Let's continue again and see how many times this loops. It should only loop twice. If it loops more than twice, then we should be able to figure out why it's looping more than twice, right? So y is equal 16 in this case. Wait, y is equal 16. Y plus equals slice size. So that's then going to go to 32. But 32 isn't going to be less than bottom start. Right, because bottom start isn't correct. Bottom start, it actually needs to be bottom start minus the start y. Right? Right? I think so. Should we have a look? Yes, that's correct. I think the exact same issue is occurring with this one over here, right? So, yes, it needs to be minus the start y, because otherwise it thinks it's going basically the entire, like, height from the top, because it doesn't know. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so the exact same issue should be occurring here, I think. So this needs to be right start minus start x, I think. That actually didn't do anything, did it? No. Huh. Oh, because, yes, that's not that one. It's... this one, right? Wait. No, not that one. It is the middle row. It's, this one. This one? Minus start x? I think? No. Wait, no, it's not that one. It's the middle one, but not the middle one. It's the middle top one. So this one, right? So start y. Here I've got plus y. I don't think it is plus y. Because that's meant to be... No, it is meant to be plus y. Wait, I'm getting confused then, aren't I? No, it's not that. It's the right-hand side. Which is this one. So what's wrong with this one? Start y. Well, we know y isn't the issue because we basically just fixed the y. So right start. Let's think about right start. So this is where the right hand side one starts, obviously. But right start isn't correct. Because what if it doesn't fit? Right? Right start basically assumes that it can draw up to that point. So it needs to be. So this is the draw height, right? I think the issue is the middle loop. Right? I think it has to be this middle loop. So this needs to be negative start x. Is that correct? That hasn't changed anything, though. We can try this by, if we once again disable the middle loop, we can re-enable it on this one now. Hopefully that will be fine. Yes. Huh, so that's actually not an issue with the middle loop. It's an issue at the top and the bottom. Really? I'm actually kind of concerned that this didn't change anything. The fact that that hasn't changed anything, I think that is actually correct to have it like that, right? Because if we look at x, which is what it was using before, x is equal slice size. It was doing minus x. That doesn't make sense. So minusing start x brings you back over. I think that's fine. Right, so the issue is this, the top and the bottom. So does this also need to be minus start x? I think it does, doesn't it? And this also needs to be minus start x. Yes. That's fixed it. Okay. And then the final thing we need to then do is move the right-hand side of this right-hand pane to the left by the slice, by the border slice. So basically the width is too big. So if you look at the width, that's because we're doing width negative border slice divided by 3. I think we need to do border slice times 2 divided by 3. Yes. Is that correct? Is that the same amount away from the edge as this one? Doesn't look... Is it? I actually can't tell. I think so. Yeah, I can try by doing this actually. No, minus, it would be minus 8 actually. No, that's different, isn't it? Is it? Also, am I crazy or is there still a pixel up there? There is, right? There is. There's still a little bit up there. Which means that the top one, if we go here, this one, it does this. I think this needs to be negative start x. No, not correct. Does this need to be minus start x? I think so. That has actually fixed it, hasn't it? That does seem to have fixed it. Does that mean I need to do that in all of them? Where I'm doing this math.min, do I also need to do start y here? I'm kind of concerned that this isn't changing anything. This isn't changing anything, right? It is not changing anything, which is very interesting. I think this also needs to be start X then, doesn't it? Look, that one doesn't need to be start X. It's only the mins. Every time it's used in a min. So like this also needs to be minus start X. Which I think means it doesn't need to be minus... Doesn't need this, does it? I mean, I think it probably does. If we're thinking about it. Yeah, I think that's correct. So I think we're now drawing less. But we couldn't see that because it's basically layered on top of each other. I think if the texture was more noisy, we would probably see it. It would be obvious. The best way actually to figure this out would be to draw a diagonal line in the texture. And basically we would be able to see if that is correct, right? Because if one of them is wrong, then the diagonal won't be perfectly diagonal. Let's do that actually. That'd be a good way to see. So here we go, open paint.net. Okay. So we're gonna just grab the line tool and we're just gonna go from here all the way to there. Let's do it in red. You can see. Let's do this one in green so that we can see. Let's also do a blue one. That's actually not. Oh, I see, but it can't be because... Right. Let me get this centered. Centered. That hasn't worked. Okay, that's fine. We can stick with these and just see what that does, right? So if I go ahead and save that, and then if I go back into IntelliJ and I do a build, which just makes sure the resources transfer over, and then if I go back into the game, once IntelliJ has built, give it a second. There you go. If I now F3 and T. Yes, that's worked, right? We know that's worked because the checker pattern is consistent, right? Yeah. So if we look at this, like the checkers are correctly lining up with each other, right? There isn't like any weird ones that are like half in here. Even at the edges, it's only drawing up to that edge, perfectly up to that edge. In this one as well. So that's correct. The only... No, that's fine. The only thing I was going to say is that like down here, these aren't lining up, but I don't think it would line up because like this one is coincidentally, but it wouldn't, right? Only this top left should be correctly aligned, which it is on all three of them. You can't see the one in the bottom left because my face cam's in the way, but it is. There you go. Now you can see. So those are actually the only ones that would, or I should say, should be lining up. And because of ratios, I guess this one has just lined up as well. And this one is like almost lined up, but that's just coincidence. That's not. But yeah, as long as those top left ones are fine and all of these are lining up within it, that's fine. That basically means that's worked. So if I now go ahead and undo the texture, give that a save, back into IntelliJ, do another build, give it a second, go back into Minecraft, F3 and T, and boom, we have our UI. This right one hasn't quite worked though, actually. Let's try and figure out why that's the case. This is a height negative 24. That should be fine. Oh no, we don't need to minus 24 because we don't have the separator. We minus 24 because of this 8 here, but it's actually only 16 because there's 8 up here, 8 down here. We only minus 24 because of here, whereas on this one there's only 8 down here, 8 there. So that should correctly only be minus border slice. And if we do that, boom. Nice. Lovely jubbly. Okay. That was the easy part. Okay, so now for the hard part then. Right. So this top left pane, as I have said, is the palette. I am actually calling them panels here. Doesn't really matter. Panes, panels, whatever. This top left panel is for the palette. So basically this will map a character to a predicate. So I know what each character actually maps to. So what I want this pane to display, on the left, I want it to show like a constantly switching texture of the blocks that it uses. Then it will have the character next to it on the right, and then to the right of that it will be assigned a name, which is just useful for identifying it, right? So it shouldn't be too hard to do. This should be the easy one in theory. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a scrollable list, because obviously this only has a limited size, so it will need to be scrollable. So scrollable lists are a pain in the arse, I tell you guys. They are horrible. So I hope you guys are ready for this. I don't even remember how to do them. The best thing to look at generally when you want something scrollable is something in vanilla that has something scrollable. And my go-to generally is the recipe book, I think. So if I, no, not the recipe book, the stone cutter. Right? If we go in here, you can see this is scrollable. Basically what we want. So I think it has a name. They call it something weird. I actually do wonder, do I have a widget that like wraps this maybe? And I guess I have this one. This is effectively what we want, I think. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm just drawing it manually here though. I don't know why I chose to do that. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I chose to do that. Very interesting. But there's a class for this. I think it's like an entry list. This widget. This. This one. I think this is the one. Let's contain a widget, which is a scrollable widget. I think that's correct then. Okay. So what we will want is to do private entry list widget, which is going to be the palette entry list widget. Let's go ahead and import that. This needs to have a type. Now the type is of an entry class, and an entry, I don't know exactly what it needs. It needs to have a render method because it needs to be renderable. I don't know if it necessarily needs anything else, but we need to have an entry class basically. I'm going to create a new class in here, and I'm going to call this a multi-block palette entry, which will extend entry from give me a second to try and find it. No, I can't find it. From entry list widgets dot entry list widgets dot entry. Doesn't like that because apparently it's protected. How am I going to make it abstract? Oh, entry list widget is abstract as well. Does entry list widget have an implementation that I can't think of? Okay, what about like mod list widget? Always selected entry list widget. That's what we want. Is this a vanilla thing? Yes, it is. Okay. So, does this have an entry class? Yes. Okay. Good. Which will be of this, I guess. I don't know what the type is here. Yeah, it's of itself. That makes sense. Okay. But this needs to be inside of the actual entry list widget. So we have to have our own entry list widget class. So we'll have a palette entry list widget, which extends always selected entry list widget, which will take in a palette entry list widget dot entry. That, and then we are going to have this as a subclass. This will be the entry, like that. Going to be of itself, so I think we need to do like that, right? Now this needs the constructor. Now, I don't know what these numbers and stuff are, so we'll have to have a look at those in a second. And that needs those. Okay. Yeah, so that's of itself, which is fine. We'll come back to narration and stuff. We'll come back to render stuff as well. Okay, I think or at least I assume that this is the X, Y, width, height. We can have a look though. No, it is not. Good job I checked. It is width, height, Y, item height. Interesting. Very interesting. Why? Why doesn't it have an X position? Okay, whatever. So width, height. What was it? Width, height, item. No, that's not right. Width, height, Y, item height. Okay. That's really weird, by the way. But sure. Width, height, Y, item height. Okay. Not confusing at all. So width, height, Y, item height. Let's actually double check that, because it's possible that the parameters get switched at some point. Same order. They actually do get switched. Well, no, not really, I guess. It is width, height, Y, item height. That doesn't change. Okay. I'm a little bit confused why the X is 0. Like always. That's really weird. I don't know. That might be something we have to fix ourselves. I don't know if we even can change the X. I guess we can, because we can call set X, right? So let's do this actually. Let's do int X. And then let's actually swap these parameters around. So let's do X, Y there, which makes it a little bit less weird. Let's make this width. make this height, make this Y, make this item height, and make this header height. And then we're also going to take in an X, and then we're going to plonk those around as the first two mats. Okay. And then we can call set X, X, and do the exact same thing here, which solves that. We might find that we actually don't need that. I don't know why that would be the case, but it makes more sense to me that we would need that. So we can deal with that later. So okay, let's make this a thing then. There you go. And then we'll just go ahead and add that in here. So init palette inputs, I actually kind of want to get rid of. I'm going to leave it for now, but I probably will want to get rid of it. Will I? Actually, I don't think I will need it. I don't think I'll need it. This might be famous last words, but I'm going to get rid of it. So, selected palette char. I don't know if I need that. Cached pretty good. So I need this. That needs to stay. Get wild pause selected. Wild pause selected a piece to add. Handler don't get pause. Why do I need this again? Selected piece. Add the handler's pause. Oh right, because the selected piece is not in world space, it's in the local space. Which is why I have to do that. And it gets the data, it gets the text. Sure, I think. I'm not completely certain, but I think so. This can go. Doesn't need to exist. We can make a new one later. That can go as well. Okay. Good. Let's also get rid of these that we don't need. That can go. And then we just need to get rid of everything that references that. So this can go. That 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 can go. Yeah, all of that can go. Okay. That can go. That can go. That can go. That can go. Most of this can go. That can go. That can go. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I think. Because this is still called. This is still called. That's still called. In there. That's fine. Okay. That's all good. So. Now let's go ahead and create this widget then. So let's create a method for this actually. I'm going to call this init. Palette widgets. I think it's actually only going to be one widget in the palette pane. We'll see. Actually, maybe not. Maybe there'll be two. Because I'm also going to want a button to add a new palette and then also delete a palette. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. Delete might maybe be part of the cell. We'll see. Let's create this method first anyways. So then we can say this dot palette list entry widget is equal that. Okay, that takes in the clients. This x plus 10. Maybe. Let's think about this. Honestly, I kind of trust that Copilot has probably got that correct. So we'll try it. Okay, entry. So, how does it create the entry? Like, how do I know what data the entry has? Is it by the index, I'm guessing? I don't remember how this works. I think it's meant to be by the index. You know what I can do though? I can go to implementations, and I can just have a look at like what does vanilla do. Let's have a look at like. I want something relatively simple, like mod list entry. Sure. So this has a constructor, and that is that called? So is this called somewhere? Add entry. Oh, I see, because you have to add the entries manually. Of course you do. I didn't even consider that. I actually didn't even consider that like it's not just going to populate the entries, right? Of course it's not. So that means we have to store data in here basically. So what we can have is we can have a private final. I do kind of want to do a text, but like it's also just a string. Like it's not going to be translatable. So I'm just going to do string name. More importantly though, we are going to want a private final char character. And then we're going to want a private final. We're going to want the actual predicate. Now, currently I am just using this block predicate class. It's not really going to hold up, I don't think, but we'll stick with it whilst we have it. That can just be text.literal name. Yeah, that's fine. I will make that a thing though. We'll do a private final text. Oh, you know what, actually I can do text here, and then just do here text.literal, and then just return name there, which makes that even simpler. So that's good. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to want to draw the text there. This is going to need to take in the client as well. So let's do Minecraft client. Just makes it a bit easier for us. So private final Minecraft client. Then we can just do this.client is equal client. And that just means that here we can do this.client. The text renderer. Okay, so that draws the character. Now, we actually don't want that to draw on the left hand side though. So here it's done x2, y2. Not actually what I want. So that needs to be x plus 18. Y can stay there. That's fine. And then, yeah. So on the left, we're going to want to render the predicates, which is going to be kind of complicated. Now I could create a scene for every single one of these. That's very suboptimal. That's basically like having a new world for each one, which I think would not be good. I don't really know. I mean, I guess nothing's ticking, and it's only rendering that single thing. It still wouldn't be great, but I don't think it would actually be a problem. It'd be lovely if I could render a block in a GUI without having a world, but like it's just not really feasible without like copying the entire render code of the world. So yeah, we'll not do that. We will actually go ahead and create an entire world. I don't know if it's like, does it even have children? No. Okay. In that case, we'll have to also render the world manually rather than use a widget to do that. But that's fine because we don't need like any interactivity or anything. So that's fine. Yeah. So what we need, also the predicate and the name actually need to not be final, I believe. Selected. I don't think it needs that. I think it already has that, right? Maybe it doesn't actually. Okay. Might have to handle that ourselves as well then. Okay. We'll come back to that. So we're gonna want, we'll come back to that. It's throwing me off track. What do we want? We want a scene. We want a fake world scene, which will be the scene. This is going to be final. The only problem with doing it like this, and it is concerning me a little bit, is we're not going to have an easy way to close the scene. We're going to have to implement auto closable and just make sure that like when we remove this, we do actually close that, because otherwise that is going to resource leak like hell. So we definitely want to make sure that's happening. Okay, so this needs to use a fake world scene builder dot create, and then what we want to do is we first generally set the camera. Now I don't really know what to do with the camera. Because we just want it to like, we only want it to actually look at a single block. I guess that's kind of the problem, right? Because my initial idea was I was just going to render like basically an item of that block. But that isn't going to work because we can have specific states of a block, right? We can specify a specific state is allowed, which you can't really do with an item, because you can't get an item of a state. You can only get the item of a block, I think. Is that true? I think so. I think that's true. Yeah, like you can't get the item of like a half-grown wheat crop, for example, right? So you can only get it of, or like you can't get an item of an open door. You just get a door. It's the same kind of thing. So okay, for now I'm just going to give it a value like that, and we'll just kind of see what happens. Yeah, that's fine. Now, yeah, if there is a predicate, we'll give it the predicate, but like if there isn't, then we don't need to worry about it. Oh, fill area. You know, I do want to make a method like that at some point, like a fill area, actually. Yeah, haven't got around to that. Predicate. Let's do, I don't want to do predicate. I want to do scene context dot add predicate, and I want to add it at the pos, which is just going to be does add predicate return the predicate? No, that's kind of a shame. Let's just do it at a new block pos 0 0 0 just dot predicates, and then we will just want to do dot build. And this actually needs to, oh no, that's fine actually, isn't it? Yeah. And then it is something else, I think. No? Is it not? Oh, because I can add a tick handler as well, but that's fine because we don't need a tick handler. It doesn't like that though. It gives us a built scene. How do we then get a... Oh no, that gives us a... Oh, that gives us the actual scene. Of course it does. Yes, that just gives us the scene. That's... yeah. Why I thought it was any different, because it is called a builder. So yes, okay. That's fine. Yeah, the other thing, I'm just going to quickly move this the other way around, because otherwise I just like to have the final stuff at the top. I'm going to do the same here. Not like a strictly thing, not a strict thing I enforce, but I just like to do that. Yeah, so then I just want to render that, so I just want to do not render in GUI, I just want to do dot render. I can give it the context, and then I can give it the X, Y, entry. Why is it done height, then width? What? Okay. Entry height, and then it also needs something else. Is it tick progress? It actually is, yes. Tick progress is a weird thing to call it, though. It is just tick delta, or delta time, or you know, whatever you want to call it, but tick progress is a bit weird. Yeah, that's what I call it in there as well. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I will actually make that a thing as well, so a private final text, which will be character text, which will be, you know, I will actually do private final, not final, but string, name string, and then this will be character, that'll be character, let's make this name, and then let's make this name text, like that. Character text, like that, and then what I can do is I can then set character text to be that, and then this dot name can be name text is equal that, and then this will just return the name text, and then this will return the character text, like that. This needs to be another FF because that's ARGB, not RGB. Shadow false is fine. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. The only thing I will quickly go ahead and do is I'll move the Z to like -1, which might maybe mean it's looking at that block. I don't know. It's kind of really hard to visualize that, so I'm not sure. Okay, the reason I've done the name like that is because I want to add a getter. The name. I don't have Lombok. Damn, I really thought I had Lombok. That's kind of crazy. I suppose it's a weird thing to use in Minecraft modding. Just very unusual, but I'm surprised. I want get character as well. I don't think I care about getting anything else. Maybe get the scene. Maybe. Might be a thing I want. Sure. That will do. Okay. So hopefully now that's in here. So that's init palette widgets, which is really just this one. That I think doesn't need to be there. Item height is 20. I think that's fine. It's once again kind of really hard to say. Yeah, so that renders that, and then I'd like to draw the name afterwards. And then after that, I'm going to want some buttons as well, but for now, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's just see what that does. Oh, I guess that's not going to do anything because we need to actually add some entries, right? So, yeah, so to add an entry, because we want to add the entries that are already there, really. So we want to... Okay, actually, what we should do, first of all, if this .palette entry list widget is not equal to null, then we need to close them, right? So this .palette list entry widget .children .for child.close. Which just makes sure that all those scenes get closed when that init is called. And then I will just do that as well. Not really necessary, but I just like to do that, just in case. I mean, it's actually completely and utterly useless, but I like to do it regardless. So that's fine. So that creates the widget, and then what we want to do is we want to go through all of the pieces and bits and bobs. And I'm actually going to call this after that, because otherwise I don't think that's going to work, is it? No. So we need to do that after we've synced the preview, and that way we can pass the predicates into that, so that's fine. So what we can do, or do we? I guess we don't actually. I guess that's kind of completely irrelevant, because we're just going to get it from the block entity anyways. So this .handler .get block entity .get pieces .for each block pos piece data. Then we're going to add an entry. Can I add an entry? Really? Really? I can do replace entries. Can I not just add an entry? I'm sorry, what? Why can I not just add an entry? Why is this protected? What? But Mojang is so weird. Why? Why would you ever do that? Okay, yeah, that's what I would do. I would do that. Oh, interesting. That's kind of smart. So they actually store a set of the entry's values inside of the widget, which is probably a good way to do that. The problem is my entries like aren't a thing. Like, I guess it's a piece data. So, well, no, it's kind of not though. It's actually, yeah, it's actually not. My entry is a palette chart or a predicate, which I guess is kind of a map. Yeah, I guess so. So what I should really have is I should really have a private final map of character to a block predicate, which is the palette, which is equal to a new hash map. And then when I call add entry, then it does basically the same as what that did. This needs to become public though, so that I can actually use it. So then when that calls add entry, the entry takes in the client, it takes in the character, it takes in the name. Right now it doesn't have a name, so I'm just going to give it untitled, and I will figure that out later. Let's do that, sure. And that's kind of it. Hello Wide, welcome back. Yes, I'm still doing the multi-block designer. We are actually about to test it. Yeah, I think so. Are you testing it? I don't think, have I missed anything? The only thing I will do is here, if this dot that is not equal null, then we need to once again go ahead and just close the children. But like, that's it. I think we can test it. Right? Am I forgetting anything? Don't think so. Yeah, don't think so. Let's test it. See what happens. In theory, this works. It will only add... It's not going to add a lot of entries. The only problem is that this isn't going to handle duplicates. So it actually might bug out a little bit. But we'll see what happens. Right. So it crashed. Cannot invoke block predicate dot blocks because predicate is null. Interesting. That's not what I expected. Where is predicate null? Render in world, which is happening here, which is happening here. How is predicate null? That's happening here. This is the populate. This is where it populates the scene. It adds up block pos 0, this dot predicate. Now this dot, oh, because this dot predicate is null. Right. We actually just want to do predicate, which is going to be this one, not this dot predicate. Yeah, that would be why. Silly mistake. It happens. Okay, let's try again. I don't think it's going to render the predicate properly. Or like it will, but we're not going to be able to see it because the camera isn't going to be in the right place. The camera is going to be a pain in the ass to fix. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't have a way to like focus the camera on a specific block. I just don't have that, so I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think it's highly improbable that it will actually render that properly. But let's see. Okay. Well, it's interesting. Yeah, this isn't right. So this needs to just be 10 and 10. Now, as for how much that fixes, actually kind of worked. Maybe not 10 and 10 though. Maybe it needs to be like 16 and 16. And then maybe minus 16 here. Okay. Now, I don't know why the scroll bar is so far away. But sure. Yeah, I don't know why the scroll bar is so far away. I also like can't even click on this scroll bar, so that's obviously not, it's not actually there. I don't know where it is, but it's not there. Interesting. I knew we were gonna have some kind of weird issue like this. Let's look at mod list widgets again. This one also implements auto closable. Damn, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, how did these handle the X position? These don't have an X position. Really? It's not mod list. Oh, that just does set X to 0. But it does that afterwards. But that probably doesn't matter, right? We've got set scroll Y. Let's go to here again. Does the pane width? Width height, item height, list, parent. Set X. I'm curious about the scroll bar though, because it's clearly not like in the right place. Finalize in it. Interesting. Render list, maybe? Yeah, so this manually like renders each entry, basically. Don't know why they do that, admittedly. Is there a reason? Oh, it's because it calls draw selection highlight, so... Okay, I see. Yeah, I don't know how to... why the scroll bar is so weird, though. I mean, I'm calling set X, right? Maybe when the widget is added to the screen, it does something with the X? I don't know. Let's go into like... let's go kind of deep down and see if we can find... So this is the class where it sets it to 0. Right, so let's see if they do anything with the X position in this class. Maybe? You got like position, render header, render widget. Okay. Get scroll bar X is get row right. Okay, we'll have a look at that in a second if there's nothing else of interest here. Get row left is get X plus width. Get row right is get row left plus width. So it uses get row left, but get row left uses get X. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm just trying to fathom why. Like how I'm confused because this isn't even working. Oh, I see. They do get x plus 6. But then get x just returns this dot x. Like, they're not changing the x. Right? Scroll bar x is this dot width negative 6. Maybe that's what I need to do. Very weird. Get scroll bar x. Get x. Is that right? See, that just returns this width negative 6. It doesn't even use the x. It doesn't even do this dot x plus width negative 6. Which is weird. It just sets x to 0. Like, why? Why? Why are you doing that? It's very weird. I want to look at vanilla. Because this isn't vanilla, right? This is mod menu I'm looking at. Let me see what vanilla does. Maybe that will give me a better understanding. Right? We're going to look at like world selection list, for example. So okay. Get row width, whatever. Okay. So where is this created? It is created there. This world selection list is the X position set. Ever? No. It's not. I'm so confused. How is that even possible? How can none of these ever set the X position? Huh? Am I being dumb, chat? Like I'm so confused. How you know, I'm gonna try not setting the X position and see what happens. Yeah, as suspected, it's not in the right place, right? But that doesn't also seem to have broken anything. I mean, the scroll bar is in the wrong place regardless. So I think what I had with the scroll bar X is probably correct. I obviously can't hot swap that. I just want to see, like, does that break anything? Or, you know, like, what's going on here? Because this is very suspicious. That's fine. I don't know why I even have that open. That's not relevant anymore. I'm so actually baffled how they can just never set the X position. I must be missing something. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, but I can't click on this. I'm clicking on it and it's not doing anything. How? I can't need to do that myself, can I? Let's select this, let's scroll Y. I'll just go through this again. See if I... Press, no. Okay. So maybe let me find usages again. See where this is used. Yeah. Mod list. So I have to do I have to actually call mouse scrolled, which is interesting. Mod list. Just a set X0. I need to look at the mods menu. 1 second. Oh, it is actually on the left, isn't it? You can see here, it's like it starts directly on the left. Okay, so that's not so weird. That kind of makes sense. Okay. Does render stuff, whatever. Looking to see if they do like a mouse clicked or anything. Because I saw they had a mouse scroll. Do they have a mouse click? Because I can't click on it either. They don't seem to, do they? I'm gonna copy this. But mod list, so what is that added as just like a normal widget, like add drawable kind? What, so it does final links and it's it does add selectable. Interesting. Interesting? Why? Selectable. Doesn't that mean I have to render it manually though? I'm pretty sure it does. Guess we'll see. So this needs to be this dots. Yeah, that one. Oh, I'll return super. Does super just, does this not? Huh. Okay. Also, this doesn't really need to be a handled screen. I don't know why I made this a handled screen. Like, I just don't actually need this to be this. But, well. It's fine. Okay, so I can't hot swap that, can I? No. I'm curious if they, like, render it manually or not. Do they? They do. Really? Okay. I mean, that's fine. It's just kind of weird. Couldn't I also just add it as a drawable as well? I'm pretty sure I can do not this one. I think I can just do add drawable child. Maybe not add drawable child. Add drawable does call add selectable though. So that doesn't matter then, does it? Because an add drawable child is the same as calling add selectable, because it still calls add selectable. It just also adds it to drawables. So why the hell don't they add it to drawables? Super render, and then it just calls it anyways. I am so confused. So it renders the description list, which I assume is like this, right? If we look at this, I assume that's that. That has to be this right-hand side pane, right? So it renders that if there is a selected entry, right? Which there is. There always is. I feel like there can't not be. But whatever. And then it just renders like why can't they just add this as a widget, like a drawable widget? It's kind of weird. Key pressed there, char typed. They don't have a mouse clicked though, which is kind of the problem. Like, I can't scroll on this. I'm using my scroll wheel right now. It's not doing anything. I can't click on it. Okay, I want to see at least maybe if yeah, I want to see if this changes anything. Adding this. And then also, I want to do the same for mouse clicked here. Okay. So then it does that. I'm gonna surround this actually. I'm gonna do this and that. There we go. And I can hot swap that. Okay, we're waiting for the game to load. We can close paint.net now as well. Okay, let's see what this does. What was that? What did I just see in the log, bro? Oh, these. Yeah. There's quite a few issues with textures at the moment. Okay. Scrolling works. I still can't click on it though. So weird. Because like in here, I can. I can click on it. But it's exactly the same. I haven't changed anything. Mouse clicked. Check scroll bar drag. What's that for? Is the scroll bar dragged? Oh, that's in scrollable widget, right? Yeah. Then this is scroll bar drag. So what happens if scroll bar is dragged? Equals. So that's a mouse drag. So maybe it's because I need to also override mouse dragged. Also, this that is 0. Yeah. So that can just be this. Let's plonk this inside of here. So if that, then that, and then say if that, then do that, which should then mean that it allows for dragging, except it doesn't. Robot dragged. That happens in here. You got mouse scrolled. Scroll and mouse dragged. I'm wondering if it's maybe because the entries are taking precedence, right? Like when I in here, when I edit this, because I set the width like that, but you can also set the entry width, I think. Yeah, get row width. So maybe I need to set this to get width, negative, get scroll bar width. Width. And that's on -10. I don't know if that's correct. Does this do that? Maybe? But it doesn't, does it? It's -6. So does that mean it's get row width? This one width negative. Get content height with padding. What? What? It's not width. Negative. The max of 0 and content's height minus. What? What does the width have to do with the height? Bro, this is so confusing. This is why I hate these friggin' entry list widgets that Mojang have, because they just don't make sense. I've never understood them. Like, why does this work? Why does the width negative the friggin' height? Like, what? What do you mean? They're all the same width. Like, there isn't... It's not like, oh, some of them are different widths. Like, they're not the same width. So get rid of that. I don't need that. So friggin' weird. I think I can do -6 here. I mean, if I do like -10 here, right? I actually do think I can hotspot this, but I try and do that. Yeah, okay. So it is -6 is fine. So then the width of this should be -6 as well. But obviously I can't test that because that's a new method. So okay, whilst I'm at it, I guess I have to do X for the row left. I'm going to try that. We'll see if this works. But either way, we are going to end the stream once I've loaded in and tested this, because almost 10 o'clock now. But yeah, we'll see if this works or not. Either way, I'm going to try and get this fixed in between now and tomorrow. Because I am going to be streaming again tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to... Well, I don't know if I'm going to be doing Industria tomorrow, though. Might go back on Railroad. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't really decided yet. I'm probably going to do Industria, though. I don't know. I need to take a short break from Railroad. Because it's really getting on my nerves at the moment. What? Why? What? Oh, no, that's fine. No, is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so that's the text. What the hell is this box? What is that? So I still can't drag to scroll this. Doesn't do anything. What are those black boxes? It has to be the scene, right? It has to be the world, surely. It is. Interesting. But it shouldn't be, because it uses the X and the Y. Wait. the X and the Y coordinate of the entry. But it's not. It's like, I'm so confused. What if I want to draw a rect. How do I draw a box? Rect? Is it not draw or fill? Oh, it's just fill. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, let's do that because I want to see what the entry things are. Okay. I see. I want to see though, does that go one less? Okay, it does. Okay, so that is actually like, that is actually correct. If I do x plus 1 as well, I assume, yeah, okay, so that's one from the left. Okay. Except I can still click in between them. I'm gonna make my own friggin' entry list widget at this rate. I feel like this is so unnecessarily complicated, and I'm gonna want so many of these in Industria. Like, it may sound like a joke, but I genuinely might actually make my own, because I don't want to have to faff around with all of this every single time. Like, this is ridiculous. It should not be this complicated. It's just a friggin' V-box that's scrollable. Like, what? Day one programming, man. And they've somehow fluffed it up. I'm literally able to click on the entries through the scroll bar. Granted, on the edge of the scroll bar, but still, I'm clicking on the scroll bar right now. And yeah, I'm selecting that entry. Like, what? How do you mess that up so bad? And why is this outline not aligned with the left? Or the right? Or the top or the bottom? This is insane. Maybe I'm using it wrong, but what could I have even done that's used it wrong? I'm just using the default shit. Okay. Regardless, I am going to go ahead and end the stream here. I hope you all enjoyed my suffering and pain. I will be live again tomorrow. I think I'm going to do Industria tomorrow. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'll schedule it after this stream anyways, so you will know. Yeah, I will see you all then. Goodbye.